that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult. Probably not the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of them.
Everyone from the Doge community that's in here tonight, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Right at this moment, I want you to stop what you're doing. Even anything else you might be doing, we'll have in the stream. And I want you to look. I want you to look at that computer screen monitor or that TV screen in front of you with that thumbnail art and my voice coming through to you right now. And I want you to understand one big, simple, epic concept. We are going to win. We are going to win. We are going to win. We've got the Doge momentum. Can you dig it?
Maybe have some fun. I mean, it's like there's a good chance that crypto is the future currency of Earth. Right. And then it's like, well, which one is it going to be? Like, what would be the most ironic outcome? That the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency.
Right. Wow. No, absolutely. So, to the moon.
To the moon.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
No.
Why not?
I don't ever give up.
What's going on? This is your man, Real Deal, Steven Steele, coming to you live on a Sunday. What is going on Sunday night? Feeling all right, out of sight. Look at all the folks we got in the chat tonight. People are still funneling in as we speak. Got a lot of members. Wow, look, a member-packed chat up in here. I love it. Some new folks as well. Somebody going by the name of Chris Peterson, which is someone's real name. I'll just put it that way. If you haven't smashed that like button already, if you could just take a moment to do that, honestly, guys, that's the number one thing you could do right now to help out the channel, help it reach more people, help extend these tentacles of Doge momentum and branch out. So we want to smash that like button like you'd smash your childhood celebrity crush. Also, if you're brand new here, I'd like to personally welcome you to Steven Steele Live. I am Steven Steele, and we are in for quite a ride tonight, guys. I got a great show lined up for you tonight, an exciting one, a funny one, and an educational one, I think, as well. Let's see, what else? Oh, yeah, if you feel compelled to super chat anytime throughout this broadcast, that's obviously hugely appreciated for all the time and efforts put forth. Feel free to ask myself or my esteemed co-host this evening whatever you'd like, and we will field those questions, comments as thoroughly as possible. Oh, and memberships are now available in 3 different tiers of membership. Entry level is only $4, and been just pumping out. We've been pumping out the exclusive membership content for you guys, and I've just been noticing a lot of people just jumping in on the memberships, and that's just been awesome. We've been having such a great time on those. John Wood starting things off with a $2 super chat. Appreciate that, John, so much. He says, let's Doge. Yes, let's get down to it, boppers. Who else do we got in here? We've got Zombie Doge Army. We've got Kyle. We've got Mr. Zero Fox. We've got Zaxy. Feeling so Zaxy tonight. Who else do we got? We've got Musty. We've got Quad Galaxy, Jason Smith, Kyle S., Nick Parma. Of course, Zombie Doge Army. Slay Blaze, Bang Stun. I think I said Bang Stun already. We got Trev Fatali, of course. Welcome, Fatali. Alan Schneider, yes. Crypto Tank Girl. What's an episode of Steven Steele Live without Crypto Tank Girl? We got Xavier, and the list goes on. Hummus Pizza, one of my favorite screen names, and Casanova, 7-1. List goes on. Great to see you guys. Awesome to see you guys. We've got some great stuff to get into tonight. Just pulling up my notes, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to introduce to you a man, a myth, a legend in these parts. It's none other than Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls. Nick, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, Steven? It's going pretty good.
Here we are. Another day, another dollar. We're back at it, back at the mat. We're in a full, I guess we would describe this as a full kind of market correction after the extremely bullish previous 48 hours. So we're just kind of seeing where we land from here, and more importantly, where we go from here, right?
Yeah, I would, this was to be expected, So I don't think anything crazy is happening. I think it's pretty normal.
Yeah, I would say the market correction and the retracement that we've been seeing falls definitely within the boundaries of healthy normalcy in the market. Not seeing anything super alarming. It's not like Doge went back down to 18 cents or something. Now we are down about 7% over the last 24. However, we are still up at almost 18% for the week. So that's what we want to look at. We want to step back even a little bit further. Of course, it's disappointing, right? Of course, it's disappointing to retrace 7% after the fantastic day we had yesterday. But we are still up considerably more than where we were before the last 48, right?
Yeah. What actually, what makes me hopeful, at least, is we did knock off a fair bit of what we gained in the month. Our monthly percentage came down quite a bit. We're still over Binance BNB for the month, interestingly enough. So there's that. But there have been some other top performers in the top 10, XRP, Ethereum, of course, and Bitcoin as well. So it's nice because now we at least we have some room to breathe and kind of grow a little bit more. But I think I put some TA in the Discord. For those who aren't members of the Discord, feel free to join.
Awesome. Yes.
Yeah, I threw some TA in there, and we can go over that if you'd like.
So why don't we do this? That sounds like a great idea. I have the Discord open up right now. I see that you've got a few chart shots in there with some circling and some charting going on there. So what I'm going to do, why don't we go over those charts? So those of you who aren't a part of the Discord yet, it's free to join actually. So I'm going to just paste a link to the Discord in the chat right now for those of you who aren't in the Discord, and we're just going to kind of do a multifaceted approach here while having the stream open. You can also toggle back and forth, those of you who want to. I understand those of you who are watching and streaming just on your phones, and that might be a little too involved for you. But for those of you who are perhaps on your computer or on your computer app and your phones, this may interest you. So I'm going to put the Discord link in the chat, and you'll notice if you scroll up just a little bit, you'll see Nick there in his Charles Atlas avatar, having posted a few very interesting charts and some very interesting movement going on there. And so what Nick's going to do while we look at these charts in the Discord is do some pontificating and verbal analysis to go along with it. So take it away, Nick. Just let us know what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so both of these charts, by the way, are on the daily. I think it's good when doing, overview of a larger swash of the market. You look at the daily movements. It's just easier to look at than going lower. And I always tell people, unless you're day trading or doing unless you're really in and out of the markets a lot, there's no reason to be on a 1 minute chart is insane. I hate 1 minute charts. There's no one needs to be using a 1 minute chart unless you are literally day trading, and that's your job. I even think a 5 minute chart is too crazy. So I'll start on the daily. I typically don't go into the weekly, but I have before. But usually I start at the day. I'll move it to the 2 hour and then the 1 hour. And then if I must, I'll go into the 30 minute or the 15 minute.
Right.
And that's if I'm trying to look at what's happening now.
Right.
But both of these charts I've laid out here are on the daily. The first chart is Bitcoin. And what we're looking at here is two resistance levels. One at 39,000, the other at about 42, which we've broken both at this point. But what I've highlighted is the area which we first broke those, and this was back in January. There was a move up to about 42, which at the time was all-time high, and then a sharp move down to about 28,000. 29,000, right around there. And then that's when Bitcoin really started to take off, and it hit 58,000. If you look at where we're at now, the red area that we had back in July, the downtrend, looks very similar to the downtrend that occurred in January, at the end of January, moving up into February, where Bitcoin really started to take off. And we can see this similar formation happening now. I think, well, obviously Bitcoin leads the markets, right? Bitcoin is going to steer the whole crypto market in general.
Yes.
I think that we're in store for a bit of red.
Yes.
Within the next week, few days to a week. A lot of this also has to do with the current bills that are passing through the House and Senate. I actually believe that these bills will be irrelevant.
Hold it.
Oh,
That's
okay.
They're gonna be separate. Where I don't want to jump the gun on that. I want to.
Okay.
We're gonna get a full analysis and opinion laydowns on that. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, so some of that would be affected, and that's what will probably cause a little bit of red this week. So no need to be concerned. The second chart that's in there is Doge. Originally lined out my technical analysis for Doge a few days ago, where I gave the Fibonacci retracements, which you can see in the color coordinated square area with each of the levels, the highest being the 1618 level at $1.82. Now these two moves to the upside that we're seeing right now, again, look very similar to what we saw prior in the year. So I just want people to see these trends they've happened before, and we can see what happens after them. We can see what happens, they'll go up a little bit, or we'll have a large move to the upside. They'll come down a little bit, and then a very larger move to the upside. So I don't want people to get freaked out when they, we have a large move to the upside, and then, the next few days it doesn't look that great.
Right.
Because this is just like the pulses and waves in the market.
Yes.
And I do believe that is what is going to take place. Even if you look at the very bottom of the screen, you'll see the MACD indicator. The MACD indicator, we're not over the zero line right now, but we are.
So just for, we obviously know what the MACD indicator is, but just for just for layman's terms, for noobs, could you just point out to them what the MAC indicator is and what the purpose of it?
Yeah, a MACD is a moving average convergence divergence. So basically, it shows the convergence and divergence. It's a trading indicator that's basically used for technical analysis on stocks. It was actually created in the 1970s. It's that old, and it covers strength, direction, momentum, and duration. It was originally invented for stocks, but it actually works. I think MACD works better with crypto. Funny enough. It was created for tracking stock movements, but it works really, really well with crypto. And, it's a momentum oscillator, essentially. So it shows market momentum. There's a zero line, which is just basically like zero flow, just neutral.
Yep.
And then it goes into the negative, goes into the positive. There's green waves, red waves. And if you look at the MACD that I have highlighted on Doge right now, we are in a green wave currently, which we are just about to cross the zero line. I believe that we should see a convergence of the two lines on the MACD, and a slight dip into the red, and then after that occurs, then we'll see the big large pump up into the green and into the positive indicator of the MACD. And I'd be looking for that to happen probably sometime late next week, early the following week.
Yeah. So thanks for breaking that all down. That's what I was seeing too, as far as the timeline goes. Early next week is kind of what I was thinking as well. So right now we are in a 7% retracement. Overall, still almost 18% up over the last week. And right now, Ethereum, just to give a little bit more of a perspective on this, guys, Bitcoin right now is trading at 43,642. And that puts Bitcoin still up 10% over the last week, even though we're down in almost a 2% retracement with correction with Bitcoin today, and Ethereum, it's down a whole 5% today, which is pretty sizable, right? When you consider that the market cap of Ethereum is about 346 billion, right? Sounds like a lot. However, same story as Doge. Over the last week, Ethereum is still up 15%. 15%. Let me get to a couple of these super chats, Nick, and then I'm going to circle back to you. Casanova, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, Casanova. Bitcoin is currently expensive to own for me. Would it be better to own Dogecoin instead? I currently own a fraction of a Bitcoin. You're not alone, my friend. I think a lot of people have been in that position, including myself. I've
got Bitcoins.
We're, just for the usual disclaimers, we're not, licensed financial advisors, and this is, quote unquote, not financial advice. With the disclaimers out of the way, Casanova, it is my opinion for somebody in your position that the money that you would allot for Bitcoin would actually be better served in Ethereum, and holding positions in both holding positions both in Dogecoin and Ethereum, I think would be much more advantageous to someone on your current budget.
I look at them as the big three.
Well, yeah.
Like if you can, Bitcoin, Doge, and Ethereum is like it's like the bench, squat, and deadlift of the crypto world.
Well, sure, that's great, but he's in a position now where he doesn't have the luxury of owning all three. So you're going to get a lot more bang from your buck. Obviously, if you have to pick 2 out of 3, you're going to get a lot more bang from your buck on your margin returns invested in Dogecoin and Ethereum. More than Bitcoin.
Sure.
If this guy, if you're just going to throw a couple $100s at Bitcoin now, that's going to be akin to maybe the kind of returns you get just throwing money in your savings account.
It's so funny because a lot of people are using Doge as a savings account right now.
Yeah.
And I think it should be the other way around. I think people should be using Bitcoin as a savings account because the percentage gain is not going to be as exponential as it could be for Doge or Ethereum. There's just much more room for growth. Could Bitcoin double and go to, let's just say it's at 50K. It's not, but let's just say it is. If it doubled, it'd be at 100. You're going to get a little more than that, but it's basically doubling your money. Whereas with Doge or with Ethereum, I mean, the upside is like exponential.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're definitely going to get better bang for your buck between Doge and Ethereum for sure. Can I address something in the chat?
Yeah, go for it.
This guy Nick, he goes, what did he say? I lost it. Do you honestly think these theories apply to crypto? And I think he was referring to our analysis of Bitcoin and Doge via the MACD indicators or maybe the Fibonacci sequence. And I would argue that specifically with the MACD, the Fibonacci works very well with cryptos too. Mm-hmm. These are proven indicators that the biggest traders in the world use. They're not really theories.
Yeah, they're not theories.
Yeah. They're known market wide, and the biggest traders on earth use these indicators. So Yeah, I do think they work for crypto. In fact, I think they work better for crypto than they do for stocks most of the time.
That's been my experience as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I've noticed even more accuracy working these methods than when I used to do so with stock analysis.
Yeah, I think stocks, honestly, there's not enough, like, the MACD indicator specifically requires a significant amount of percentage differential, which just doesn't happen in the stock world. Like, yeah, they move, but they just don't move to, like, extremes.
Right.
And it's hard to really see, like, what's going on via MACD when something's only moving 1% or a fraction of 1%. And when you get, in the stock market, when you get a 2 or 3 or 4% change, like, that's like life changing. But in crypto, that's like, a daily thing. So I think the MACD and Fibonacci levels are specifically, they were created for stocks, but it's almost like they were way ahead of their time, and they work much better with crypto.
Yeah, big agree. And somebody that's going by the username Ross Nickel, it can't be the real Ross Nickel, but thank you nevertheless for your $2 super chat. Said, I watch adult films for the good stories. Do you? I mean, I have watched them. I'm not a big consumer personally, but no judgment. I'm not the biggest consumer of that stuff, but I have watched some for the unintended comedic value through the storyline. So
they don't even. I don't think they have stories anymore.
I think they do. I think there'll always be a few studios, putting out or pumping out, no pun intended, some kind of like parodies of actual movies. That's always kind of been a thing.
Were you around? This was back in the early 2000s, but they did a Pirates of the Caribbean, and it was like multi. It was the last of its kind. See, I don't think they've made one since this with this budget. It was multi-million dollars, like big, huge money, and I don't think I've seen it, but I know about it. I guess it was pretty cool.
It was an adult. It was an adult parody of Pirates of the Caribbean that had a huge budget behind it.
Oh yeah. It had like, I don't know what a Pirates movie costs. Probably about $200 million. It was about half the budget of an actual Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like $100 million porn.
Oh, geez. I hope they made their money back.
Oh yeah, well this was back when you could actually. This was like the early to mid 2000s.
Oh, so probably when people were actually still buying DVDs. Yeah. All that's okay. You know what struck me as very, very a very strange, disgusting practice is when you see the signs on the adult media stores where it says. Rent, where you could rent DVDs at these stores.
Well, that was like back in the day. You remember going to the video store back in the day, and they had that that section in the back with the beads, hanging down. You'd have to walk through the beads.
Oh man, I don't want to walk through the beads. I don't want to walk through the beads, man. And just the idea of renting adult films from. One stranger to the next, and then I really don't want to think about what's on those DVDs by the time it reaches your
I don't know, maybe I think it's better than VHS just based off of surface area alone. Please be kind and rewind.
Yeah, I haven't looked it up, but I'm assuming there has to have been a series called Call of Booty. That has to have been a thing.
Oh, sure.
Anyway, so anything else to add to the charting in the Discord there, Nick?
Yeah, no, guys, just make sure you're not freaked out in the next. You put out a hilarious video today. I can't remember the. I forgot what you titled it. It was funny.
It was like 1 minute long.
Yeah, it was 1 minute long. For the love of God, calm your tits. I watched that today. Yeah, so please, guys, just, relax. The market is going to correct a little bit after going up so hard.
Yes.
It might take a few days, might take a week or so, but we're still in this overall upward trajectory. Specifically Ethereum. I'm looking at Ethereum on the daily today. It looks like Ethereum finally is going to have a red. Oh no, it just created a new candle. So I don't know. I kind of hope Ethereum has a red day today. The candle just started, but Ethereum needs a red day. It has had too many green days in a row. Ethereum needs it needs a correction. Everybody wants unlimited exponential gains, but it's guys, this
you think you want that, but you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because usually the harder you pump, the harder you fall. So just keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong. I love you know me. I love the major huge pumps. I think it's so much fun. We have a good time. But just remember, every upside has a downside, and it's all just part of the waves, bro. You just got to ride the waves.
Ride the waves, indeed. So, guys, we got about 53 thumbs up, a little over 100 folks watching right now. If we could just kind of close the gap there on the folks watching and the likes, that'd be hugely appreciated. If we could just pump up the likes for a few seconds, it takes a split second of your time, doesn't cost you a dime. It's honestly the easiest, simplest, best thing you can do to help the channel out and help the stream out. So appreciate that, guys. Let's get to this congressional bill, this infrastructure bill. It's obviously a very contentious, hot topic right now. This comes courtesy of Business Insider, and this came out about 7 hours ago. Inside the Senate's sudden cryptocurrency showdown, holding up the Biden infrastructure bill. Two bipartisan Senate gangs are engaged in the last-minute clash over cryptocurrency tax enforcement. The fight is scrambling partisan politics and may provide a glimpse into the future of crypto regulations. We're all working to try to resolve these issues, Senator Ron Wyden told The Insider. Now check this out. It's a Senate fight causing an unusual cast of characters to team up. And I love this, actually. I love what's happening. And this whole thing is coming with a major silver lining, which I'm about to get to. Jack Dorsey, Gene Simmons, Elon Musk, those three are on the same side in an unexpected clash among senators racing to pass Joe Biden's $550 billion in infrastructure bill sometime early next week. Two bipartisan Senate gangs are dueling in a sudden showdown over cryptocurrency tax enforcement in the legislation. It's a fight that's scrambled the partisan politics in Congress, usually known for and provides a glimpse into how lawmakers may further regulate the burgeoning trillion-dollar industry. Senator Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, Cynthia Lumens of Wyoming, along with Democratic Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, are partnering on the amendment to exempt crypto miners, software developers, and protocol developers from tax reporting requirements because they say they're unable to produce the information to comply. These miners are individuals and companies who generate digital coins. So this is pretty interesting. We're having, there's actually a lot more information here, but I'm just trying to see if there's any more super meat to this article before we jump in on it. So one of the things that's most interesting to me about this, Nick, is it's bringing together an unlikely array of folks to rally around the defense of cryptocurrency. Anyone from Jack Dorsey to Ted Cruz to Mike Lee, Republican Senator Mike Lee, to a few Democrats as well. So what I do like about this, what I do think is a positive about this, is it really does, as the article said, scrambles the typical partisan politics. And it's been my humble opinion over the last few years particularly, that the usual left versus right paradigms, the usual umbrellas of left versus right partisan politics is grown increasingly antiquated, like mind-numbingly antiquated. And so an issue like this, to see kind of these new realignments and allegiances in defense of crypto from some folks to really unite and become a motley crew, so to speak, I think is encouraging. Now, what do you think the probability of all this passing is, Nick, and what are your thoughts?
Well, Stephen, I'll first start by saying that even if this goes through, I don't think it might temporarily affect the markets, but I don't think it'll be a nail in any coffin. I personally, I don't care. I literally don't care if it passes. It's
now, before you make a big statement like that, explain why. Explain why you don't care if it passes.
Because what would be what it's boiled down to on just the taxation front is I think $4 billion course of several years. So what it would mean, as far as a differential in tax goes, it would be negligible. I don't even. It might be a 0.5% or something like that. It wouldn't be something you or I would be like, oh my God, this is crazy. That being said, I do want to advocate on the side of crypto, and I do want to, I don't want to pay any more taxes than I have to pay.
Yes.
So I do hope that they get it resolved, and it sounds like it is getting resolved. And I think that, it's funny that you mentioned that the government, the bipartisan government that we have is antiquated. What we call left versus right in America, as we move into the future, this line is going to get increasingly more blurred, just based off of age. I mean, these people who have been fighting this fight for so long, they're just going to age out, and eventually it's going to be our generation who's going to step up and start taking the reins here. And I don't know anyone in our age bracket, or even my parents' age bracket, who would think that more taxes on, specifically what we're talking about here is short-term and long-term capital gains. And the funny part is, it doesn't end up hurting us really, because we have plenty of time to make money. Who it initially and who it primarily hurts are the elderly, people who are cashing out their 401ks or cashing out retirement plans and such. These are the people, because this is a majority of long and short-term capital gains. A majority of it falls on retirees, a vast majority. So I think that we'll start to and I hope that this bill, I hope it goes in our favor. But I really do. I hope that I just hope that everyone from both parties can come together and figure out that the wise solution is to leave crypto the way it is. I don't think like I said, I don't want to be taxed anymore, but if it does pass, and I don't think it'll be a death blow to crypto by any means.
Yeah, thank you for putting that perspective there. I largely agree with you, and it is also notable to put some needed pressure on when it's deserved, particularly when it comes to someone like Janet Yellen, for example, who's our current U.S. Treasury Secretary. This is a woman that's just riddled with corruption, and I mean recently, up to the last. Building just a war chest of nearly $8 million right before she was appointed to the office of which she sits now, and that $8 million were in speaking fees from just Citibank and Citadel hedge funds alone. So, and she's really run under a shelter of limited disclosure, which is obviously really an admission to guilt. And she's received even millions more from other banks, from the Barclays and the usual suspects. Her incentives are really misaligned, and she's been such a huge. It's notable because she's been such a huge vocal critic of cryptocurrency, and it's just like, this isn't rocket science, guys, to see why. At the end of the day, of course, she's going to answer to the people that have given her $8 million, that have made her a multimillionaire. That's where the allegiances lie, and that is, it's a safe assumption that that's going to dictate whatever the hedge funders and whatever Citadel's overall perspective on crypto is, by proxy going to be her opinion. Your thoughts?
Yeah. It's so funny that, big money is it's openly allowed to influence, our politicians. I think that's just ridiculous. It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, well, it's one of these things where these speaking fees, many, mind you, they weren't even in-person appearances. They were Zoom call. Yeah, the Zoom calls where she's accumulated millions of dollars. And it also raises another question, since millions of dollars were pouring into her the last year and a half, or right before she got appointed, is where she accumulated most of this money. So there was that's a great deal of confidence, right? That the election was going to turn out the way it did, for them to front that kind of money to make that investment. I don't think I'm going to go down that rabbit hole any further, but I think you know what I'm perhaps alluding to there, Nick. But I just think that's interesting. But hey, same as it ever was. You just got to follow the money, folks. Follow the money, folks, to find out where our elected leaders' allegiances lie. And not that there's not some decent folks in our congressional chambers. There really are. There really are. They're definitely in a minority. Don't get me wrong, but they're there. They're there. They're few and far between. But I think going forward, we really need to demand, not to get too political. And I've actually been having a wonderful time checking out of politics over the last year. A wonderful time.
Me too.
But this is something we just got to discuss right now, just inevitably due to what's going on. And, going forward, whether you guys lean left or right, I really could give a shit. I don't care. And I especially when it comes to judgment of who I make friends with, I don't care either one way or the other. But what I will say is, whether or not which way you lean, it's important that you're at least looking at where your potential elected leaders and your candidates for office locally, and your representatives of your respective states, where they stand in cryptocurrency. Are they even familiar with it? Do they even have enough of a semblance about it to have positions on it? And if so, what are those positions? Are they advantageous, or are they aggressive and hostile to digital currency? So let's say you usually vote Republican, and then you find out your current elected a Republican senator who's up for re-election is very hostile to cryptocurrency. Are you going to let your partisanship get in the way of that and still vote for him anyway, knowing it's in the whole crypto community's worst interest to do so? So these are just questions that I'm just proposing that we all ask ourselves going forward, is all. You, you don't think this thing's going to pass, and you don't think it's really as consequential as many people are saying that it is.
Yeah, both. I don't think it'll pass. And even if it does, like I said, I don't think it'll be a death. It certainly won't be a death blow to crypto. The original language of the bill was so crazy. I don't think that was ever going to go through. It was essentially labeling like every person who takes part in crypto, they have to like they had to like get a broker's license and stuff. It was nuts. That was never going to happen. You know, since then the language has been amended. I mean, you know, what it's basically coming down to is are we going to pay more taxes or not? And like it's just about money. It's all about money.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that they're trying to acquire from crypto via this new proposed bill is pretty inconsequential. Even if it did pass, like I said, it wouldn't be the end of cryptocurrency. It certainly wouldn't even make a dent. But what it would do is it would open up, you know, it would basically be like a slippery slope that, you know, people could say, well, if we can do this here, we can do it again. And so I don't want it to pass simply for that reason. I just don't want the politicians to get the feeling that they can just willy-nilly come in and just tax the hell out of something. And then that's where it becomes an issue for crypto in the long run and overall, is if they, you know, over time impart taxes that just make it not worth having anymore. Like I said, we're not at that stage now, but this, you know, if it does pass, yeah, it could signal to other politicians that this is something that they could front going into the future. And that's the only thing I'm really concerned about. I'm not concerned about this specific bill itself. I'm just kind of concerned about the implications of it going forward into the future, and I think that's what we really should be looking at. And I think, like I said, I'm not that worried about it.
I'm just laughing as I'm thinking about the people that are on the same side of the fence on cryptocurrency in Senate and Congress, and the people that are on the other side of the fence, and it's just such an unlikely hodgepodge of allegiages. It's really funny, especially as I read some of the inevitable back and forth that's going on in the chat here. Maybe we opened up a little bit of a can of worms here, but you know, it is true. And one guy mentioned in the chat that our former President Trump, he actually did make a statement that was decidedly anti-Bitcoin. I mean, that now he made that statement after he was out of office, but he did make that statement, which I found actually a bit surprising, since his son has definitely made some statements that he's seems to be very pro-stonks movement, and his generally pro crypto. So I'm not quite sure what's understanding, but he did make that statement. So here we have the former president who was expressed severe skepticism towards Bitcoin, right along with Elizabeth Warren, right? And then here we have Ted Cruz on the same side as the likes of an Andrew Yang, right? So
so weird, Steve. It's so weird. Cryptocurrency is like the weirdest divider of people, in the sense that it like it brings together the most unlikely suspects. Like, and I don't understand why it doesn't. I just don't get why some people like don't like it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if they just don't understand it, or they're afraid. I don't know. But some people, and typically they're from an older age bracket.
Yeah.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that has a ton to do with whether people get crypto or not. Because I have yet to see like a real young person be anti-crypto. I don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, good
But,
point. It's
you know,
definitely a big generational thing. That's one of the predominant factors here.
Yeah. I would say so.
Rock Lobster coming in with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Rock Lobster. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys, for your take. You're very welcome. Someone else says Steele for Prez 2024. Man, I wouldn't want to take that on. But I will say this: I have, in all honesty, running for public office is something that I have never completely taken off the table. It's always something that's fascinated me to a certain degree. I don't know if I'd ever have a chance in hell of winning. Because I would run as I'd run as an independent. I wouldn't feel comfortable running in either one of the major parties, even if that's for, let's say, an alderperson position or a state senator position. But
So funny that independents can't get elected.
I mean, they can. It's just few and far between that they do.
Yeah.
I mean, they have. But
I wish that it was more prevalent than it is.
yeah, I know. And once in a while, you get one that can upset the apple cart. But it's also one of these things too, where my personal evolution was I used to be a bit more. I used to be definitely, let's just say, more partisan on one side growing up, and I always thought that I would consider myself on that one side. And then I really started to challenge myself and humble myself and realize that I had, to a more of a degree than I wanted to admit to myself, a victim of my own confirmation bubble of bias, right? And so, between all my friends in the music industry and all my friends that are artists like me, we're all parroting the same shit every day to each other, and there's just like this assumed sense of intellectual superiority without having to justify that assumed sense to each other, right? So when I started questioning the validity of that general assumption, I started discovering things and challenging some of my own assumed takes on things. Then I quickly became the ire and the enemy of some of my previous friends for looking at things, making a conscientious effort of looking at things as objectively as I could, wherein I just started doing my best to let the data dictate what my opinions were, rather than a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. I think a lot of the times people get stuck in these bubbles of confirmation bias in everything in life, And for my entire life, I've always tried to go outside or against the grain and think really differently, and like sometimes to my own self-detriment. Like I've pressed myself in life to like really contemplate far outside of what the norm is and what is what you're hearing in your own personal echo chamber. I try to do that every day, and that's why I do spend a fair bit of time on Twitter, but I try and like on Sundays I'll take the entire day off. I might post something in the morning or whatever, but I'll take days off of the internet and just go into the country, just like escape from technology for a little bit.
Yeah. And it's what's interesting. I totally agree, Nick. And what's helped me too in terms of engaging with people and people that I've known throughout the years, even or even new people that seem to espouse super strong opinions politically that I don't agree with. Before I fire back or get fired up, I take a deep breath and I think about my own evolution of my own opinions over the years, right? And then I consider perhaps the age of the person I'm talking to, right? So let's say
100%.
So let's say I'm talking to a 23-year-old girl that I'd be out on a date with or something like that, and then she'd be going
You're going
off
on dates with 23-year-olds?
Yeah.
Dang, awesome. Good for you, man.
Maybe I accidentally spilled some beans there about myself. But
No, that's dope.
yeah,
I'm going on dates with 47-year-olds, so good for you, bro.
it's so funny that we almost have we went in split directions there.
Yeah, we did.
But it's one of the, I don't even know where to go now. But it's one of these things too, where when you're listening to those opinions before, I start, it's just not worth it. It's just like for me. I can listen and have a conversation with someone who absolutely is seething full of hatred towards the former president, and I can have a reasonable, or not, a pleasant, rather, I wouldn't say reasonable, a pleasant conversation with someone like that, and I can also have a pleasant conversation with someone who's a huge proponent and loves their previous president. I don't let their opinion on that one way or another completely dictate the experience and the engagement that we are having in the present moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've gotten to the point with politics, and I've kind of mentioned this on former shows. I used to be friends with the guy who created Anonymous, and he's out of prison now, but he was in prison for a long time. And back in high school, man, I was the most politically active kid, because it was right after 9/11, and like everybody was going to war, and everybody hated George Bush.
Yeah.
It was just like a time, and I was very politically active.
Yes,
I was going to protests, and I was like 17 or maybe 15.
Yeah, I think we probably had similar trajectories, because and this is funny. I had, by the way, guys, I had no idea this episode was going to go this direction, but this is how it goes. It's the nature of a podcast format. But yeah, I had a similar trajectory. I was actually in the streets protesting the first Iraq War way back in the day. Whereas is that kind of the same era you're talking about?
Yeah, of course. And by the way, which we were correct for protesting, by the way.
Right.
It wasn't like we were right about that.
Right.
I just want to mention that. And I trust me, I was hanging out with I was hanging out with anarchists.
Oh
and,
boy.
White kids with dreadlocks and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never kicked it with the Trustafarians. Good proceed.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at is, over the years, my political opinions have shifted to the point where now I have more money than I could ever know what to do with, and I just don't care. I literally just don't care. I hardly ever go on Facebook anymore, because all it is people bitching about, when the former president was in office, it was a disaster. It was a dumpster fire on Facebook every day. It was just madness.
You mean you're not saying specifically an opinion on the former president of the job?
No.
You're saying the social landscape was.
Yes,
right.
The social landscape was just an absolute dumpster fire. It was
right.
just people who were upset, people who were, it was just mad.
It never stopped. Every day. Yeah.
It was every day. And that was when I got to the point where I was like, look, I just don't care. I literally just don't care anymore. I don't care. And I'm basically at that point right now in my life where I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish. I have everything I need. There is absolutely no reason for me to turn on Fox or CNN or any of the major news outlets and figure out what's going on in the political world, because it ultimately I tell these people, my family. My family, by the way, is very split down the middle. I have half of my family is extremely left and crazy left. By the way, those people are no fun. That half of my family they're not a good time.
Careful, Nick. But yeah.
The other half of my family, who were really big Trump supporters, they're crazy, but they're a good time. I do have fun with them. So I visit both. I like them. It is what it is. But where am I going with this? Yeah, I just don't care. I just don't care.
No, I kind of I hear what you're saying because I'm trying to navigate this conversation, without being partisan, because I know that I want to be respectful and sensitive to viewers. I know we've got viewers that lean left and lean right. I don't care which way you lean, guys. It's not going to inhibit my esteemed opinions about any of you guys. Okay, just for the record. But I had noticed a similar societal observation that you did in terms of most of my friends that I grew up with. They're far left. They're basically American Marxists, and I've noticed that with at least the kind of good old Republican conservative types, which I do not describe myself as. I'm not either. But at least I could just hang out with them and laugh about stuff and not have to worry about offending someone inadvertently every other sentence that came out of my mouth. You know what I mean?
They are a good time. They like to drink too, which is fun.
Here's the thing. It's just when we get into kind of this purity spiraling in this cancel culture stuff, to me, the most important thing when assessing your opinions about sentiment someone lays forth or somebody's character is the context and the intention, right? So context is obviously incredibly important. What context was the statement in question made, and what context was made? And secondly, what was the intention? Did they mean anything bad by it? No. They didn't mean anything bad by it. Maybe something was said a bit more clumsily than it should have been, but they didn't mean anything nefarious by it. They didn't mean to offend anybody by it. And so, we all need to give each other a lot more breathing room. I think most people are fairly reasonable in terms of they don't want to live in a society where they're constantly feeling hawked over and micromanaged over every little thing that they say, right?
Yeah, I think that's the major issue of the internet right now is there's just large corporations that are trying to micromanage everybody, and it's I want to go back, almost to the early 2000s where it was a crazy time to be online, but at least it was profitable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these big corporations, and we found this out too during the YouTube adpocalypse, right? They thought that it would be in YouTube's best benefit to get rid. They lost all of these major sponsorships and stuff like that. In doing so, they made everything family friendly.
Yeah.
But the money hasn't come back.
Yeah.
And there's money out there that's floating around, and I think if people just had the balls, no pun intended,
right. I knew that was coming. Yeah.
to be allowed to speak their mind on a platform that encouraged more open rhetoric, I think that I just think that the expression of free thought is probably also the closest thing you can get to perfect monetary system where people can make as much profit as they possibly can by freely sharing open opinions and ideas. And as soon as you start to stifle that, you also turn off the money flow. The money flow gets diminished. And I don't know. One day they might realize this. There's been a few failed attempts at changing this. I can think of a few social media platforms that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But I think we both can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really dude. I really want to. If my money ever becomes crazy money, I want to start a social media platform that may be centered around crypto or something like that.
Yeah. I have to say, for the gripes that I may have at times surrounding some of the drama within crypto Twitter, it's nothing compared to when I log back in on Facebook. It's nothing compared to that. I don't miss Facebook at all. The only reason I ever check on Facebook is because I have to check my messages and keep up with the listings and related to my small business presence on there. But I don't even bother to look at anything else aside from my business page on Facebook. I check my messages from customers on my business page. I check my listings on my business page on Facebook, and I'm out. I've been so much happier completely checking out of Facebook. I've got to say personally. Kyle, welcome to membership. About time, my friend. Love to see that green on the screen, if you know what I mean. So welcome. And I know it's getting a bit late for you, Nick, but I will be indulging the members in a special after-set stream. A short after-set stream after this for members only, another members only exclusive stream about 15 minutes following the end of this stream. And we've been having an awesome time there, a great time. So if you'd like to be a part of that, just click the membership options pinned at the top of the chat. There's 3 different tiers of membership there, ranging from entry level is just $4 up to about $20 or $25 monthly. So you can check that out.
I want to, as soon as, if we can get a show going at 9 and we can get done by like 11.
Lately, Nick, I've just been so busy.
I know.
By the time, you know me, like, I think some people realize, but like, this has kind of been turning into a full-time thing for me, and there's so much work that has to be done when you do it all yourself.
And you also run a business.
And I run a business, so it's just like, it's like literally nonstop from the time I wake up to the time I go live. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I love it. But it's just, it's also a ton of work. One last thought that I wanted to express on this whole kind of political tangent, socio-political tangent that we went on. And the reason why I wanted to express it too is because it sounds like you and I came out of some similar trajectories. I think you could relate here. I think I found it to be a very fascinating observation over time. But so back in the day, I opposed the Middle Eastern wars and interventions, and I was actually protesting the street about it. I'm obviously dating myself a bit here, guys. This is early 2000s. And then freedom of speech and being against censorship. These are between being against unnecessary interventionalist conflict and being very pro freedom of speech. Used to be 2 stalwart positions that most often associated with the left. Would you say that's safe to say back in the day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so,
sure.
And that's kind of where I, by default, ended up being. And I just think it's interesting, and regardless of whatever you feel about the most recent, or the president before the one we had, he ran distinctly against, on foreign policy, against the neoconservative foreign policy, against the Bush doctrine, against the Iraq war, called it one of the biggest disasters, biggest blunders, worst decisions. And then he also made scaled down the military-industrial complex a bit anyway, and made some very stern statements about the excessive greed and the lust for war at the military-industrial complex. So there were lucid moments. I'm not saying our last president was the most anti-war guy, because he wasn't, but there were moments where I swear I could. When the foreign president would be talking about the military-industrial complex, it sounded like it could have been right out of Bernie Sanders or Dennis Kucinich's mouth. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
and then I don't think he ever got any credit for that. And I was just like, to my friends, I'm like, no, we like that. And they're like, no, we hate that. I'm like, why do we hate that now? I'm confused. And then the embrace from the left for censorship now, to me, is absolutely bonkers and disturbing. I can't wrap my head around it, Nick. And so
it's like it's flipped.
It's flipped
again.
And so when my friends, say that I've changed, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, y'all changed. Anyway, I'm just gonna I think the only reason I brought it up because I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. But
100%.
yeah. So anyway, guys, we're gonna move beyond that. I hope we can all still get along just like we did before we went on that tangent. I think we navigated actually pretty well, and I think we got we've got a very groovy, easygoing community here that's not too uptight and can get along with each other just fine. So we're going on about 11:35. Let's see, what else should we add on this before you're off to bed? Let's see. Looking through my notes here. Let me bring this article up from the Daily Hold. That's a website that's actually, I think, doing a better and better job. It's all crypto news, and I think I've been pretty impressed with their work lately. And the title of this article is "Popular Crypto Strategist Predicts Huge Outbreaks for Bitcoin and Ethereum, Says One Altcoin Set It for Fireworks." Widely followed crypto strategist and traders are predicting big bullish moves for both Bitcoin and Ethereum following the heels of the last bullish few days. The crypto analyst known in the industry as the Crypto Dog. Do you know what the Crypto Dog is?
I do not.
Yeah, he's got about 600,000 Twitter followers.
Wow.
And he says he predicted today that he's expecting massive Bitcoin gains to hit 30-day highs as it breaches his last line of resistance around 4,300. He said, "Not much between us and really 50,000 for BTC. I've got my feet propped up. I'm in no rush. I've had that line drawn for a minute and de-risked accordingly, then bought the dip. This is becoming a predictable game," he said. Looking at Ethereum, Crypto Dog says the leading smart contract platforms is set for a big breakout, even hitting temporarily resistance around 3,100, and then
he called it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then mentioned that this would inevitably lead to positive gains for Dogecoin. With Ethereum rally to the new 30-day high of almost 3,200, the crypto analysis said that the new Ethereum all-time high is within sight. All new all-time highs for ETH are not far away at all. Trying to get to, and this is the last thing I'll put on it. Looking at Ethereum against Bitcoin, the Crypto Dog says that the pair has ignited a strong breakout and is primed to surge at least 40% from its current value and worth about 3,079. I've been buying ETH dips every time and want to go long BTC. I'm expecting a really strong rally after the crossing of 0.068 BTC. Strong breakout on ETH. This is going to get much higher real quick. What are your thoughts, Nick?
I like him a lot more than the whale. He sounds he's got charts too. He knows what he's doing. Yeah. I would echo this. I think this guy's right online. I think he basically said what I said.
Yeah.
And he called ETH perfectly. So yeah, I would imagine. If you look at his graph, I'm looking at it right now. If you look at his graph on Ethereum specifically, it's an upward ascending triangle pattern.
Yeah.
And this is the pattern that's forming on pretty much everything. This pattern is forming on Bitcoin, it's forming on Ethereum, it's forming on Doge, it's forming on everything, which means that's not a individual asset. That's a market pattern that's going on. So I would agree with this guy. I think that we're breakout is imminent, and I would expect bull run. I keep saying it. Bull run part 2, electric boogaloo.
Yeah. So this isn't. And reading the general take and analysis from this guy here, there's a lot of echoing of the sentiments that you, in general, take that you laid out pretty distinctly at the beginning of the show through Discord. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He kind of we're right on the same page.
Yeah. So I couldn't help but notice some in the chat, they look like they're newer here. So the two hosts here are leaning right. Got it. You know, it's so funny. Like you go sod your way to just be as transparent and unbiased and transparent again as you can be. It's like firstly that's not really true, but secondly, it's at that point it just becomes like one of those things where say you come across a guy on the beach and it's sundown, right? And you're both looking at the sundown and you say to him, "Hey, look at that beautiful sundown." And he looks at you, he's like, "Well, that's not the sundown, that's the moon." And you're like, no, that's the sun. No, that's the moon. Well, let me explain to you why it's the sun. And then you have a lot of patience, and then you calmly and rationally explain why it's the sun. And then he said, "Well, it's the moon." And you're like, this conversation is done. It's just pointless. What are you gonna do? I don't know. Did you have anything else to? Got 100 people strong. Got a lot of night owls here tonight, actually.
Yeah. And I am not one of them.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I like I said, I really do want to join you on an after hours. I want to get spicy. I got to do it at a reasonable hour.
Yeah, it's just we've been going on later and later lately due to my other obligations, and Sunday was a pretty busy day for.
Maybe sometime this week on either tomorrow or literally any other day than Tuesday, because Tuesday I'll be gone. Oh, yeah. And then I forgot to tell you, not this weekend. Next weekend, I'm going to be kind of hit or miss. It's my girlfriend's birthday.
Yep.
And then the following weekend, we're flipping our schedule again back to our old schedule, because not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that, we're going to see Tim Dillon.
Oh, awesome. I love Tim Dillon. He's great.
Yeah. So we've been freaking pumped for this show for
nice, man.
months. It got delayed like 7 times. So we're finally getting to see Tim Dillon.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I envy you. I think he's great.
We'll have pictures.
Stormer says Steven's political rant has dragged in more people. Maybe we should flirt with political discussions even more.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the what's that? The guy from Chicago, Tim Pool. Welcome to the Tim Pool Show.
It's funny because I've actually gotten recent parallels to. Actually, Alan in the chat, I've gotten that before too. Steven Steele is the Joe Rogan of crypto. I've gotten that stuff. That's one I get pretty repeatedly. I've had a few folks say that I'm the Tim Pool of crypto. I'm the Joe Rogan of crypto. I don't mind. I think that's flattering in my opinion. But awesome. I dig it. I love it. No problem. Hello, futuristic Angel. I saw you sneak in earlier. I didn't get a chance to say hello to you. So, anything else to add to this before we send Mr. Nick Balls off to Dreamland?
No, I think we're good, guys. I look forward to see what this week brings. Don't be surprised if it's a little down. I don't think we're going to see anything major. And if we start pumping, I'll be happy.
Right on. Nick, always a pleasure, my friend. I'll check in with you tomorrow when I wake up.
All right, sounds good, bro. Take it easy, everybody.
You as well. You guys, Dogecoin millionaire Nick Balls, go follow him on Twitter. Let's get him to 5,000. You can find him at Nick. Just go NickBallz on Twitter, and he's pretty easy guy to find there. I'm going to continue the show for a couple more minutes here before we move over to the membership stream, the members only stream, and I do have a big announcement, an awesome announcement. You know how I've always been talking about, there's been a lot of requests for t-shirts since the show started, and I just didn't feel like the timing was right. I haven't talked about merchandise in a while. That's because I've been working on it quietly and efficiently behind the scenes. And as of tonight, it's my pleasure to announce that I finally launched a merch store. So far, I'm launching it with two, what I feel are great designs. And they're both available in men and women's cuts and stylings. Got those quality soft blend, tri-blend t-shirts, hoodies, both hoodie, zip up and pullovers, and crew neck sweatshirts, and even yoga pants. Some tight pants. Tight pants. Tell all your uncles and all your aunts. And I'm going to put the website in the chat. It's just Steven Steele's shop. You can check out the gear, guys. It's Steven Steele's shop, and I'm gonna just pop the link in the chat for those of you who at least want to check it out. And so I really like the designs. I'm a little bit biased, but I've got a Dogementum design. It's the big Dogementum logo that I made with the classic trademark kind of glow text that I always use for the show and in the thumbnails. And then I got a second design, which is Steven Steele live design with the Futura girl with the big sunglasses with the PG-13 across the big sunglasses, and it says, well, here, I'm going to put it on the screen. Why not? Put it on the screen, if you know what I mean. A lot of night owls tonight. I love seeing it. So let me get into my OBS and swap out this Doge chart. There we go. Here we go. And then we're going to go to the primary screen here, guys. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. So this is the men's t-shirt anyway for the Futura Girl, Steven Steele Futura Girl design. Let me blow it up a little bit so you can see it close up. So it says live streams almost nightly, regular guest, excellent community. Can you dig it? It's kind of like in a vintage black, they call that, and that's in a tri-blend. I got one of those on the way, and then I'll show you the website. So here's the website, Timeless Designs, Quality Apparel. And then here's the Dogementum gear I'm talking about. These are the women's tees here. Here's the women's tee. It's pretty cool. And this is all organic cotton too. Isn't that cool? Yeah, I made sure I'm really picky about my t-shirts too. I didn't want just some generic big beefy tees. These are fitted tri-blend t-shirts. Really good quality stuff. And then Dogementum socks. And then there's jogger pants, Dogementum jogger pants. I have some of those on the way too. I like this one. This is like an overprint sweatshirt with like really big text. Look at that. And then Dogementum yoga pants right here, guys. And then there's just the stencil hoodie. It's all really top quality stuff too. And here's just the Dogementum men's t-shirt here. Organic cotton. Pretty cool. Anyway, you guys could feel free to check that out. Let me get back to the chart here. But I was excited about that. Been working hard on that stuff, so yeah. Bring in the Dogementum. So it's about 10 to midnight. Let me shrink the charting down here and get back to the secondary overlay. And we've actually come up in value on Doge, over 24 cents here. And let me see what's going on in the chat. Welcome, Mike Tracy. Didn't see you sneak in there. Bang Stun says, I'm getting the yoga pants. Rock 'em. And you know what? I missed a super chat from Beto, but I didn't forget about you, Beto. I always appreciate you coming in here, man. Beto, $2 super chat. Politics is opinion like an ass. Everyone has one. So true, my friend. So true. Yeah, I'm working on scaling that design, Bang Stun, that you're talking about to get it in a high res enough in order to pull it off. So I haven't forgotten about that addition. MD Hewitt, haven't seen that name in a while. Asked how I am. I'm doing well. We need a Tagambia shirt. You guys are funny, man. Let's see. Fatali's going to put on them leggings. I'd love to send a pic, post a pic, Fatali. Thank you, Futuristic Angel. Thank you. Trucker caps are coming, Zero. Trucker caps are coming. I'm working on those right now, actually. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everyone for joining tonight. In 15 minutes after the stream is done, I will be moving over to members only breakout session, the bonus session, members only. If you're not a member, just click the link pinned at the top of the chat to become one. I got some extra bonus stuff to go over with you guys, some behind the scenes stuff to go over with you guys. So keep your notifications on, and if you're not sure where to find the members only link, just look on my Twitter. I'll be posting on Twitter right after I get off of here. And then I'll also be posting in the YouTube timeline as well. So just keep an eye on that. And I'll also be posting it in the Discord. So between all three of those, if you're a member and you're not sure where to go for the members only stream, go to either Twitter. You can go to Twitter, you can go to Discord, or you can go to look in your YouTube timeline to check that out. Thank you guys so much. This episode was a lot of fun. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you had fun. I know I did. And let's keep the Doge Momentum going strong. Doge Momentum going strong, guys. And thanks again. And members, don't fret, members, because your man Steven Steele is going to see you in 15 to 20. Over and out.
You had that third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
There are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult. probably not the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of them.
Everyone from the Doge community that's in here tonight, I want you to listen to me very carefully. Right at this moment, I want you to stop what you're doing. Even anything else you might be doing, we'll have in the stream. And I want you to look. I want you to look at that computer screen monitor or that TV screen in front of you with that thumbnail art and my voice coming through to you right now. And I want you to understand one big, simple, epic concept. We are going to win. We are going to win. We are going to win. We've got the Doge momentum. Can you dig it?
Maybe have some fun. I mean, it's like there's a good chance that crypto is the future currency of Earth. Right. And then it's like, well, which one is it going to be? Like, what would be the most ironic outcome? That the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency.
Right. Wow. No, absolutely. To the moon.
To the moon.
When you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.